Clover fresh milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express in Mzansi, where we are ready to roll up our sleeves and start enjoying in the kitchen. Now, as we continue to bake our way through the lockdown days, today we show you a delicious Italian classic with a South African twist. Our garlic and biltong focaccia. Chef Dumi, take us to Italy, girl.
Yes, darling. A lot of people are complaining we can't travel, we can't do this, we can't do that. We will bring the food right here to you. And today we are making focaccia. And one of the most important parts about baking such bread is you need a leavening yeast agent, which in this case we're using yeast.
Okay.
So over there I've got a bit of an experiment for you to perform. Whenever you're baking, you need to make sure that either whatever leavening agent you use is fresh and will work.
Okay.
So you've got yeast over there and you've got bicarb. So we're going to be testing whether they are fresh.
I'm so nervous. Okay, I don't want to get this. It seems like a science experiment.
On the left, you've got the yeast with some water. So you're going to pour the water into that, the yeast into that empty jar, and then follow with some water. We're going to leave that to bloom for a couple of minutes. So that'll be checked last, and then you can just stir it in to make sure it's fine.
And do you want it all the way up, filled?
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to get going with the rest of the ingredients here. So we've got our flour, which is the main part of our dough, and then we've got our yeast. Normally, you've seen me put the yeast in with some sugar, bloom that. You're doing that to show the people how it's going to rise.
Yeah.
But in this case, we're not going to do it. It's going to work just fine anyway. Okay. I've just gone in with some salt. I'm going to mix this together. This is the dry part of our ingredients for the baking. Okay. And I actually just want to go in with a bit of pepper. This time I'm using green peppercorns just for the additional flavor.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. And then we're going to mix this all together.
So,
and then,
Chef Dumi, before you go on after that pepper point, additional flavor in green peppers?
It's basically a different kind of pepper, but it's just about the power, the punch that it gives you.
Okay, brilliant. We're learning here together, step by step, Mzansi. Let's carry on.
All right, cool. So that's the flour. We're going to go in with the wet ingredients for our... How can I forget this? The main ingredient, the star.
Oh, yes. Oh,
we need to go in. So normally we put in about 500 grams of flour. So we're going to put in the 50 grams of dry ingredients, which is going to be our creamel.
Brilliant.
So this is going to bring a bit of a creamy flavor to it. It won't be too pungent, but it'll still give you that tasty Italian flavor.
You know, Chef Dumi, it's quite understandable, Creamel, because, you know, it's such a part of Afternoon Express's cooking, our baking. We almost use it for basically any and everything. It's like water, you know,
Exactly.
You cook with water, you do everything with water. Same with our Creamel. Oh, it's our best friend. So it's easy to be like, oh, it's a staple, it's obvious. Goes without saying.
Yes, we're trying to show people that you can take whatever ingredients you have in your house and completely change them however you like, and just be creative with it. So we've got the dry ingredients now. I'm going to go in with our wet ingredients, which is literally some lukewarm water. And then I'm going to go in with our olive oil as well.
Okay.
I'm going to go in with that first, and then I'm going to pour my olive oil in there, and then just mix these together. The one thing that's different about the focaccia dough is that it's not as dry or as hard as normal bread dough. The reason I like mine to be a little bit more loose is because I want to see those air bubbles, right? So I'm going to let this mix together for a bit. I'm going to put it over here because I already have dough that I've made earlier, and this is what I want you to show you. I want you to see the air bubbles in it. So these are the air bubbles that are caused by the mixture of the yeast and all the ingredients that we put in there.
It almost looks like a spider's web.
Exactly.
So that spider's web effect, that's what we want to see in our dough.
Correct. We're trying to make sure people understand that what's happening there with the yeast, it's creating these air bubbles, and then when your focaccia bakes, you're going to see those beautiful air pockets inside the actual bread.
Stunning. So if you want to see the science behind this delicious recipe, just head over to Afternoon Express's website, afternoonexpress.co.za, and you could be baking a delicious focaccia with an Mzansi twist. That South African twist that we love.
You know how we roll on Afternoon Express. So now that we've made our dough and it's risen, we basically let it rest for a while, and then we go again, and then we take the air out of the mixture, and then we go back into it again, and then we let it rise. So this is after the second rise. I'm going to put this into our pan. I almost made a huge mistake yet again. I didn't grease my pan.
Oh,
so it's very important. Because the one thing is, when we're making focaccia, you need to make sure there's enough of a base for it there. Because I'm not going to call it an oily bread, but it's a very rich bread. So we need to make sure that it's nicely greased. And then I go in with my dough. And it's a very playful dough as well. So you're going to see right now why I call it a playful dough. We've put it in there, and then we're going to start making some little holes in it. And I've got a bowl of water here, and we're going to start spreading it into our pan. If you don't reach the corners, it's okay, because it's going to rise and it's going to fill those corners.
Expand.
Yes. And now as we make these holes in the bread, this is where we're going to put the rest of our ingredients into the bread.
Okay, South Africa, Dumi's going on like a train, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the passion, and I'm loving the momentum, because that's what we do here in the kitchen. We make magic. But again, South Africa, we are using some cherry tomatoes, we're using some biltong, and we're using these odd ends that we have found in our fridge and in our pantry here at Afternoon Express. But we do challenge you to use whatever you find at home. Have fun with it. Get everyone involved with this playful dough in terms of separating, creating those holes, and adding in the flavor.
Exactly. So now we called this a garlic and biltong focaccia. I'm going in with my garlic that I'm just sprinkling generously over our bread.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go in with our biltong. It's a South African favorite.
Love that.
You mentioned earlier that you love biltong, but not that much.
What? Hi, Utumi, I know. Don't lie on my behalf, not on my name. Girlfriend, I love myself some biltong. I'm a true South African when it comes to that. I can't hide. Every single time I've traveled, I've craved that biltong. So love that you're adding the biltong Mzansi twist. If you are meat-free like I am now going for 3 weeks, you can add whatever other topping, maybe a nice spinach or some, leaves on that.
Yes, and basically once you've filled it, goes into the oven,
Time to
bakes
enjoy.
at 205 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, and then that's going to be baked and done. The next one.
Girlfriend, yeah, I was going to say, you've got so much beautiful things here, and I don't know what to do with them, and I want to enjoy here, so help me.
So the second thing you've got on the right there, you've got some bicarbonate of soda, and some vinegar. So we're going to test whether it's fresh. If it bubbles, then it's fresh.
Okay, can I just put it straight in here?
Yeah.
Ooh. Whoa, that is okay. Woohoo. This is magic in our kitchen. Oh, so much fun. Thank you so much, Dumi, for giving us those kitchen hacks that are so necessary, but more importantly, delivering this fire recipe. Now warm, delicious, and comforting. Now that's one way to chase away the winter blues. Head over to afternoonexpress.co.za to get this recipe.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.